All right, welcome back to Genius. So we are going to be starting the chapter where we talk about responsive web design, okay? So in this chapter, we're going to be talking how do you build your website so that it can be responsive for any device. If a user is using a mobile phone, if they're using a desktop, if they're using different sizes of screen, how is your website going to actually be responsive? Because when you're building a website, most times your users might be using um, their mobile phones, and each mobile phone, there are a lot of different sizes. Okay, so how do you build your web application so that it can actually suit these mobile devices? Okay, because these days browsers, most of our users now access our web pages with their mobile phone, and you can also notice that on this platform, you can use any device to actually access it, and it is very, very responsive. All right, no matter any device you use to access it, it is very, very responsive. So that is what we'll be looking at. How do we make such thing like that? Okay. So in responsive web design, the viewport determines how content is displayed on different devices. So we have different ways of making our website very responsive. We have the viewports and the meta tag that we'll be talking about. We'll also be looking at media queries. We have the flex boxes and other stuff that we are going to be talking about. But in this session, we'll be talking about viewports and meta tag, and also we'll be talking about media query. Okay. So in responsive web design, the viewport determines how content is displayed on different devices. So with the viewport, all right, with the meta tag, you remember when we talked about meta tag, we use the meta tag to give the browser information on how to deliver our content. So with the viewports meta tag, you're actually going to tell the browser how they are going to display your content on different devices. So by default, browsers will scale web pages to fit large screens. All right. So by default, browsers are designed in order to make the web pages to be big to fit larger screen width. Then when you now access it on mobile devices, it will look very, very small. It will not look appealing. It will not look nice. So for you to override the default behavior of the mobile browsers, all right, you can control this behavior by using the meta tag viewports. Okay, so that is what we'll be looking at in this session. So this is it. Now, the meta viewport tag is placed inside the head section of an HTML document. You already know this. All the meta tags are placed in the head section of the HTML document. So right now, we are trying to tell the browser, this is the information we need you to use to display our content. So this is how it looks like. The meta tag, then the name is viewport. The content is width equal to device dash width. Then it has initial scale option 2. So let's break down the attributes here. After this, we'll go straight to code. All right. So the width device. Okay, we are looking at this content now. Okay, this meta tag. The name of this meta tag is viewport. Then the content, all right, is what we are looking at. The content has attributes like width equal to device width. All right, so the width is equal to device width. So we are telling the browser, set the viewport width to match the device's screen width. Whatever screen or device that the user is using, match our content to match the device screen. Okay, if the screen is 200 pixel, if it is 500 pixel, whatever it is, match it for us. So with this attribute, you are telling the browser to set the viewport to match the width of the user's device screen. And we are saying the initial scale is 1.0. Now, this ensures that the page is displayed at a 1:1 scale, preventing automatic zoom out. Now, of course, this is the default. 1.0 is the default. But if you put it at 2, it is going to zoom 2 times larger than the size. Do you understand? If you make it 2, it is going to zoom. Okay. So before we go and see the various variation, let's take a look at something here. So you can see, all right, you can see we have this. Let me reduce. Okay, we have this HTML page. All right. So we have the div, the H1, the paragraph, okay? So, but this is what we are doing. Okay, first of all, let me close this style. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. Okay, we said the viewport should be, the name of the meta tag is viewport. Then the content, how do we want to display the content? We want the browser to make sure that the width of the browser should be the width of the user's device. Okay, and the initial scale should be 1. So if I go on and show you the browser here, now look at the browser, okay? And you can see that this is very, very responsive. No matter, okay, let me show you how you can actually do this. Now, this is the full screen. This is the desktop view of it, all right? So if you want to check it for other screens, all you have to do is to right-click, click on Inspect, all right? When you click on Inspect, it depends on where this thing is going to be. If you want it to be by the right side, just come and click this 3 dots here and look at this dock side. You can put it you can dock it to right, you can dock it to bottom, you can dock it to left. So however you wish. So let me dock it to right. This is the default. So now you see our screen here is 896. This is the screen width. This is the height. Sorry, this is the width. Sorry, I'm so sorry. This is the width and this is the height. All right, this is the width, 414, and 896 is the height. So this is iPhone SE. You can see it is very responsive. You can see it's very responsive. No matter the screen, no matter the size, all right, this one is 390, the width is 390. So because we are using that viewport, the meta tag viewport, it is very responsive. You can see it, all right? You can do all these things to just check. Now let's go back to code. All right, let me remove that viewport. Let me disable this viewport. If I disable it, all right, it's no longer going to be responsive. Watch out. You can see it's no longer responsive. Can you see it? It's no longer responsive. But if I make it to full screen, yes, it is be like this. But it can never be responsive. It can't go below a certain size. So if I take it back and inspect, but in case this your own is not showing, all right, click, you shall make sure that this is highlighted. Look at it. If your own is not showing all those different devices, click on this icon, toggle device toolbar. Just click on this icon here. And you can see, so we can now toggle, all right? We can toggle. Okay. All right. So you can see what we have here. But if you bring back the meta tag, it is going to be responsive. It is going to be very, very responsive. Okay. You can see it matches everything now. All right. But check out the difference now. If I go back and comment this guy out, okay, it's going to be very, very ugly. You can see now, it's not responsive anymore. Okay, if I refresh the page, okay, it's no longer responsive. Okay, now, if it depends on the size. Okay, and you can see it doesn't fit in well again. All right, so you have to always put this viewport meta tag. Okay, you have to always do this so that it will be very, very responsive. Okay, all right. So let's go and see common viewport meta tag variation. You can actually prevent the user from zooming, but this is not recommended. If you don't want the users to be zooming it, okay, you would have to say, put this extra attribute. Inside this content, width equals to device width, comma, initial scale 1.0, user scale no is equal to no. Okay, if you don't want it, you don't want the user to zoom it, but it is not recommended. You should allow your users to zoom and see and zoom your content. If you want to allow zooming, all right, you have to remove that user scale equal to no. Then you can say the maximum scale is 3 and the minimum scale is 1. So depending on how large do you want your users to zoom, you use the maximum scale attribute here to define it. So the users can only zoom your content 3 times the normal size, and they can never go below the normal size. Okay. Okay, so this allows users to zoom in and zoom out within 1.0 to 3.0 scale range. So this is very easy to understand, okay? Now, you can also put a fixed width. So if you want to develop an application and you want it to be only desktop, you can remove that. You can see the content. We're only using width equal to 1024. Now, this is the width of desktop. So this forces the width of 2.1024, making it unresponsive. So with this, your device, your content will not be responsive in different devices. So of course, you're not going to be doing this. So the best way is to use the normal one. And of course, your application should be very, very responsive to everybody. So why the viewport meta tag matters? It ensures proper scaling on all devices. Let us go and play around with these values. If I come in here and say, scale it to 2.0, initial scale to 2.0, if I go back to my browser, let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, it's not obvious. Just that I cannot zoom because I'm not using a mobile phone. Okay, I cannot zoom. Okay, I cannot zoom because it's not a mobile phone. But always, okay, the initial value should be 1.0. Then you can now put maximum scale that they can zoom to. So it ensures proper scaling on all devices. It improves usability and accessibility. Now, if you make your website unresponsive, not everybody can use it. So the usability will be poor. But just like this is our platform now, you can use any device at all, and the usability is 100%. Okay, so it also increases accessibility and improves it. It's also essential for mobile-first design. In fact, whenever you're designing a website, you should be designing it for mobile first. Your design should be mobile-first oriented. All right, you should be designing for mobile before desktop because most of your users will be using mobile devices. Okay, now it works with CSS media query to enhance responsiveness. So that's the next thing we are going to talk about. We are going to be talking about CSS media query. So I have already shown you an example. I've already shown you an example of responsive web page. Okay, and let's talk about media queries. So media queries in responsive web design. Okay, they are a CSS technique used in responsive web design to apply different styles based on the device's screen size, the resolution, and other properties. So with the media query, you can give different styles. You can style your web page based on the screen sizes. You can style differently for a screen that is 200 pixels. You can style differently for a screen that is 1024 pixels. All right, so I'm going to show you how. So look at it. This is the syntax. Here we have media query, we have at media screen and mass width 768. So let me go and show you in code. Okay, so this is what we have here. Maybe I could just take these guys out so that we will see this thing clearly. Okay, so we are saying here at media screen and then in bracket, we'll now put maximum width 768. You can also put minimum width. You can also say mean width. You can also say mean width. And then the mean width could be 360 pixels. So what we are saying is we want to apply this style, okay? We want to apply these styles to any device screen that is between 360 to 768. That's what we are saying here. The minimum width of the device that this style will apply to is 360 and the maximum is 768. So with this now, we'll have the background color to be, let me change this thing to be red so that it will be very, very obvious. But before I show you this thing in the browser, let's go and explain more. So how does it work? The media, at media specifies that we are using a media query to define a particular style, all right? Then the screen targets screens only. It is targeting device screens only. It's going to ignore other media types. Then we have mass width that applies styles when the screen width is 768 or smaller. But we also, in our example, we also indicated mean width. So for me to show you this example, let's go to our browser. We said the minimum width, okay, we said the minimum width is 360 and the maximum width is 768. So when we are, this is 375, so you see the background color is red. But let me look for one that is less than, that the width is less than 360. 360. Okay, so between, okay, sorry, I think my, okay. Okay, I think my syntax is actually wrong. Sorry. So we said minimum width is, we are saying, we said at maximum width, okay, we say maximum width, okay, and we said maximum width, apply the background color to be red. So let us look at a screen that is more than 768. Let's go here. This is 80. Okay. For some reasons, this is not, just a minute. 678, that is when this thing should apply. Okay, you can see it is 820 now and we don't have it anymore. All right. If I go back to this, we will have it. Okay. But if it is more than that, you see, the background color is out. So that background red, that CSS style we have there would only work within less than 768. Anything that is more than 768, it will not apply. You see it does not apply here. Okay, anything that is less than 768, it will apply. But if I go on and say, okay, I want to work with minimum width. So what I'm saying here is the minimum width to apply this thing is 768. So we are saying here, this style, you see this style that we have in here, do not apply this style unless the minimum width is 768. If the minimum width is less than 768, this will not be applied. So this will be from 768 and more, okay? So I go to the browser. You can see we no longer have it again. But if we go from 768 upward, okay, this is 540. It's less than 768. Okay, so if I come here, 768, this one is also 820. So from 768 upward, but anything less than 768, that color will not apply. So this is how we apply different styles based on the screen devices. Okay, based on the screen devices. Okay, so that is it. All right. You cannot, when you say minimum and maximum, it will be between that minimum and the maximum. So it will match anything in between. So, oops. Okay. So common media query breakpoints. Now for small devices, all right, you can put a maximum width to be 480. If you want to target, if you have a style that you want to target for small devices, you will do maximum width is 480. So this thing will get between 0 and 480. Any device screen that is between 0 and 480, this style will be applied to it. We have another one, 768. Anything from 0 to 768, this style would apply. Okay, we have 1024. Anything, this is the maximum, anything within 0 to 1024 will match. Okay, and the same thing here. So this is how these things work. So what are the best practices? Always design mobile first. Design first mobile. Start with styles for your mobile devices first. So look at this. You add queries for larger screen. First of all, any styling that you're giving to your web application, it should be for mobile devices. So if you now have a different style for larger screens, you can now add with media query. You can see here by default, this is for mobile, but by default, this font size is 14 pixels. But we are not saying anything that is larger than from 768 upward, make the font size to be 16 pixels. So on mobile devices, it will be 14. On anything that is larger than mobile devices, it will be 16 pixels. So you can apply any style at all, Always use relative units. We haven't discussed, okay, we discussed relative units in CSS. Okay, so relative units, I'm not going to explain them here. It is discussed already in CSS. So, but always use relative units in your styling. All right, group similar media queries together, combine them. Here we are saying at media screen and max width 768 pixel command, then orientation. You see, this style would apply if the orientation is portrait. So when the height is bigger than the width, that's portrait. But you can also change this portrait value to be landscape. Okay, you can also change it. So when a user is using their phone on a landscape orientation, that style would apply there. Okay, so that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you get confused, in case you have any question, please reach out to us, chat us up on WhatsApp so that we can explain more to you. Okay, have a great day and we'll see you in the next session.